Type of contents. Once we've created our pages or our portals, we're going to want to add different contents. We have all kinds of different types of contents. We've already seen some of them. For example, we've used the employees data. We've used the button panel, but there's some other contents that we have to learn how to use. There's some contents that are also quite easy to use, like HTML. Basically, it's a space you create and you start adding whatever you want. For example, you can add images, you can add text, you can add links, whatever you want. We're going to learn how to create some of these contents. The first thing I want to do in order to add a content to my page is click on a space, select the type of content here, and start configuring it. I could select, for example, an HTML content and create one from scratch. So I could go here and I could say I want to create a new HTML content. When I click on create, it would take me to this window. I'd give it a name, for example, demo. And now here I'll add my content. And here I could add whatever I want. Let's say I want to add an image. I'll add an existing image from the gallery. For example, this one here, this banner. Okay, this is quite a large image. If I want to make it smaller, I can do something like this. Okay, so here's the image I just added. I'll click save and exit. And now when I go to the page, we can see the result. So here I have an image. We said we wanted to create a responsive page. So if I add a background, for example, a background color here, and a background color here, we're going to see that it's going to adapt according to the screen. So here we have our two spaces. We can make them larger or smaller depending on the size of the screen. The minimum size is actually quite large. I want to indicate that the size is a bit smaller. So instead of 800, I'm going to say they have to be maybe 500, the minimum. And the height, I'm going to put it by content. So here I'm going to put 500. And this is also going to be by content. I'll save. Here we can update. Now I can see the result. Okay, so now we can see, since the minimum is 500, this space here is never going to be smaller than 500. This one, since it's displaying by content, we don't really see anything. If I have a content, it would display inside. I'll show you guys a little trick here. I'm going to click here on the HTML image. And I'll say, instead of having a fixed size, I want it to be 100%. And I'm going to take this off here. So it's always going to occupy 100% of the space. Now here I'm going to update. And it's occupying 50% of the screen because this space occupies 50%. And we can see it's a responsive image. It's getting bigger and smaller depending on the resolution of the screen. I'm not going to go into a lot of detail about HTML and all that because that's not what we're trying to focus on during this course. But anyways, here we've seen that we've added an image. I'm going to add another image, or I'm going to add some other content over here. So I'll click here. And instead of creating a content from scratch, I'm just going to copy some content. For example, this hello message. I'll save and exit. And now I can see the result. So here we can see the hello message. Quite simple. Obviously, when we're creating a page, we're going to have to plan things better and design things better. But right now, I just want to show you guys the basics so you guys can learn how to customize your portal. Now I'm going to go down here and I'm going to select some of the type of content. For example, an external website. So I'll click here on external web page. I'll go in here. If I don't have any, I can create a new one from scratch. I'll give it a name, for example, Aura Quantic. Now, the page I want to open is the official website of Aura Quantic. So I'm going to go to the corporate website. I'll copy the link. And I'm going to paste it down here. Once I've done this, I already have my external website content created. I'll save and exit. And I'll save and exit here. Okay, here I also want the height to be according to resolution, or I can even put a fixed height. For example, I could say this is going to occupy 650 pixels. I'll save and exit. So this isn't according to content. This is actually always going to be the same size. So I'll go to my page, I'll update, and here we can see the result. The website should appear embedded in the page. And here we can see that this is what's happening. So we have the corporate website embedded within the page. Now, maybe I would like to use another type of content. So I'm going to modify the space here, and I'm going to add a form. If I click here, I could select the option form. And now I could design a form for my page. I don't have any, and we don't have the option to link it from here. It doesn't matter. What we're going to do, we're going to enter from structure, because here we have all the different content types and we can create them from here too. The same as I created a button panel directly from the page, I could also create it from out here. The same thing happens with HTML and all the other contents I'm creating. So I'm going to click on forms. I'll create a new one. I'll call it demo. Now I'll click on continue. I'll add a division. I'm going to keep it really simple. I'm just going to add a button. I'm not even going to add any actions or anything. Here we're not bothering. We're not dedicating any time for design or anything like that. All we're doing is learning how to create these contents. And I'm not going into detail because you guys already know how to create an HTML content. You guys already know how to create a form, okay? So now I can see my form here. This is the form I just created. So I went to structure. To create it, I went to structure. Let me recap a little bit. So I went to structure. I went to content types. I clicked on forms. And I clicked on create, and I created this new form. Then I went back to my publishing space, and now I can select the form. Okay, so I click here, I select it, I save and exit. And now when I update my page, here we should see the form. Actually, I'm not seeing the entire form. If I wanted to see the entire form, I have to modify the configuration a little bit. But anyways, we get a good idea of how to use the different contents, how to indicate the different sizes, how to create sections, and so on. It's quite similar to what you guys have already been doing until now, so I don't think you'll have any problem to design a page. Let's go back to the presentation. Exercise 403, part 3.